Tales Podcast is a part of the Connected Podcast Network.
Ahoy, my friends. Welcome aboard the Tales Podcast. I'm your storyteller, Aman Mazinga. Join me as we explore the tales that grew from the people of indigenous and African descent in the Americas and the Caribbean.
After, come and see me, chef, who will impart upon you a recipe for the story you have just heard.
So with no further ado, let us set sail on this new age of exploration. Papa John's Tall Tale. Papa John was an old timer, and we did what he told us. Jake was his son, and after he had his dinner, Papa John told Jake to find a horse that was fastest. Jake went down to the big house, asked for the horse that was fastest. House Jim says, "Take Mrs. riding horse. That one is fastest." So Jake rode Mrs.'s mare back over to Papa John. He got there before he left, too. And he says, "Papa, here's fastest."
"Who that mare belong to?"
asks Papa John. "Belong to Mrs." Jake says.
"How you know she the fastest?"
Papa John says, I know she's fastest because I'm here before I'm gone," says Jake. And it was the truth. He had got back before he left. Any fool could see that.
"Well,"
Papa John says,
"take that mare and take this pumpkin seed on your back. Don't drop it. It's heavy. Carry it over to the field. Take a shovel and make a hole 1/4 mile wide and drop that pumpkin seed in."
"That's all?" asked Jake.
"No,"
said Papa John.
"You got to get out of there as fast as you can. That's why you ride the horse that's fastest. Don't look back now. Just get out of there once you drop that pumpkin seed."
So Jake did what he was told. And we was all watching. That mare run as best she know how, which was fastest. But it wasn't good enough. Jake said, "Get up and gone, fastest. Get up and gone, fastest." He looked back, what he wasn't supposed to do, which slowed him down some, and saw the pumpkin seed was growing vines, and the vines was after the fastest mare. The mare and Jake had to climb across the leaves to keep going. And then there was pumpkins house high. The hogs were eating inside of them and living in there. So Jake and the horse riding on through get on back to Papa John. Real upset Jake was, and told him what happened. Papa John soothed him.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. Nothing gonna get you next to me help,"
Papa John said.
"That wasn't much of a pumpkin seed to begin with. You should have been around when I was a turnip grower."
"You was a turnip grower, Papa?" asked Jake.
"Was one time,"
Papa John said.
I plowed me 2 acres. I got me a mountain of manure and spread it on thick. Then I put down the turnip seed."
"What happened?" Jake asked.
"Well, all of a sudden,"
Papa John said,
"that manure was slopped up. That turnip grew so a herd of cows would get under the turnip leaf and sleep all day. So I had to fence it in, keep all out. Took me 6 months to fence around that turnip too. When that turnip growed up,"
Papa John continued,
"I had to find some way to cook it. And so I went down there to a man could make things. I said, I need a pot big and a high as a hill. Man says, I can do it. Hire me some hands to help me. That's what he did,
Papa John says.
He hires him 100 hands. They dug up that hill for the clay. Then they was molding and casting that hill into a pot. When it was done, they had them a clay pot hill high. Then the man could make things got another 100 hands to help roll that pot atop the turnip. Wasn't no trying to get the turnip in the pot. So that's how we had to cook it, with the fire above the pot and the turnip under it.
Take you long, Papa? Asked Jake.
Well, it took about a year to get it boiled through, but it cooked up real fine. That turnip did,
Papa John said. How long ago was that? Asked Jake.
Oh, when you was a little fella,
Papa John said.
Been years ago.
Well, I sure would have liked to taste that turnip, Papa, Jake said.
Well, you had your chance,
Papa said.
You eat the last piece of it for your dinner today.
The end. Yep. I'm here. Like I didn't have to take a break. And because I didn't. I actually did not have to take a break this time. I normally am at this point, because of the holidays, because of work and recording, I am extremely fatigued, fogged out, exhausted, tired. My normal morning routine is off. I'm dragging, and I'm pretty sure everybody's like that, right? Now, this is going to come as something weird. I tried something new to help out with that. I normally drink a lot of black tea in the morning, and I tried something new for about a week to see if it'd help me out. It was Magic Mind, the shot, right? And it helped, surprisingly. I wasn't expecting it to. I took it for 3 to 4 days. Initially, I took it the one day. Then I took a day off to see if there was a difference. Then I took it the next 3 or 4 days and found out it helped me out a lot. I didn't have the drop off at the end like I would normally have if I take other energy supplements. I didn't have the jitters that I've had from taking other stuff. It didn't send me straight to the bathroom like coffee or tea does, which I think is awesome. Especially when you try to work and you work outside. It's hard to find restrooms, you know. It defogged me real quick in the morning. Like, I'm normally a morning person, but after a while, you know, morning people we drag too, right? And it really helped out, and I was surprised. I didn't even notice at first that I felt better, but then when I looked, and I'm like, yeah, I feel better. I really do. And then when you look at what's in it, it kind of, it's like, well, yeah. One, I really technically didn't stop drinking tea. It has matcha in it, which is great for antioxidants, which helps your immune system and everything like that. Then it has this flower, Rhodelia rosea, which helps with fatigue and anxiety and increases your body's resistance to stress. And then you have lion's mane and cordyceps mushrooms in there. It altogether has 6 ingredients, which if you're vegan, vegetarian, if you're trying to reduce your chemical intake, because everything has chemicals in it. If you're trying to reduce your sugar intake because everything has sugar in it, this is something you can do. A tea, 3 flowers, 2 mushrooms. That's not much, and it actually tastes good. If you're adverse to the taste of matcha, trust me, I am. You don't taste it. Shoot that thing back and you are done. It's good, right? So I'm looking to get more. I recommend my family to get it. It's just something, that you should try. What's it going to hurt? You've done the other supplements. You drink coffee, you drink tea. What's it going to hurt to just try it? See if it helps. See if you don't have to drink as much coffee anymore. See if you don't have to drink as much tea. See if you don't need those other energy drinks that make you feel funny at the end of the day. So my link to help you and us and family and everything for the month of January is going to be magicminds.com/Jan AfroTales. Okay. magicmind.com/capital JAN lowercase AfroTales. That gets you 1 month free when you subscribe to 3 months. Again, magicmind.com/Jan AfroTales. Once you go there, once you pick what you're going to get, at checkout, put in AfroTales20 as your discount code. That's AfroTales 20. That's going to get you an extra 20% off, which gets you about 75% off altogether. This lasts for the month of January, so hurry up because when it's done, it's done. So again, go to magicmind.com/Jan AfroTales and use the coupon code AfroTales20 at checkout for your extra 20% off. All right. As Chef would say, go make this year yours. As always, have a blessed day, have a blessed year, and enjoy. What makes Bro Wasp have a short patience? Creatures don't always stay just the way God made them. No, sir. With the mistakes made and accidents and natural debilitations and one thing or another, they became different as time goes on. Until sometime later, they are hardly the same thing at all. At one time, Bro Wasp looked very different from the way he does today. He was big on company, and he loved to talk and joke and cut the fool. He was one person that had to have his laugh. One day, he was walking on a path and he met up with Bruh Mosquito. Now, Bruh Mosquito and his whole family weren't very big at all, but they took themselves mighty seriously. Bruh Mosquito and his paw planted a little patch of ground together, but they always called it the plantation. They talked so big about their crops and land and everything that you would have thought that they had a 20-mile place. Now, Bruh Wasp loved to draw Bruh Mosquito out on the subject. That same week, there had been a heavy frost, and all the sweet potato vines died and turned black, and everybody was forced to dig for the early potatoes. And Bruh Wasp, after he had passed the time of day with Bruh Mosquito and inquired about his family, he asked about his paw's health and how he made out with the crop. "We made out fine," Bruh Mosquito said. "Just too fine. We had the biggest crop you ever seen." "The potatoes were big then?" "I tell you, sir, they were huge. You never seen such potatoes." How big are they, Bruh Mosquito? Bruh Wasp questioned.
My friend,
Bruh Mosquito said, puffing out his chest and reaching down and pulling his little britches tight around his little leg.
most our crops come up bigger than a calf of my leg.
Well, sir, Bruh Wasp looked at Bruh Mosquito's poor little leg, and as he thought about those huge potatoes, he had to laugh to himself. Now, he tried to mind his manners, but his chest and face swelled up and his eye water ran out of his eyes. And he just burst out laughing right in Bruh Mosquito's face. He laughed and he laughed till his sides hurt him. Whenever he thought he would stop, he looked at that ridiculous leg that stood there like a toothpick, and he laughed more than ever. His sides hurt him so much he had to hold them in with both his hands and rock himself back and forth.
What makes you have to do that?
Bruh Mosquito asked him.
You had better explain yourself. That is, if you can act sensible.
Bruh Wasp gasped out. Good Lord, Bruh Mosquito. Looking at the biggest part of your leg is like hunting for the harvest part of a hare. How big those huge potatoes must be if you say they are as big as that. And he laughed again till his sides hurt so bad that it wasn't enough just to press them. He had to grab them in both his hands and squeeze. Bruh Mosquito was so annoyed that he felt like fighting Bruh Wasp right on the spot. But then he remembered that Bruh Wasp was kind of nasty when he got in a row. So he just drew himself up and stuck out his mouth and said,
Laugh, you no-mannered devil, laugh. But take care that day doesn't come when somebody laughs at you the same no-mannered way.
And he went away so blistering mad that his two little coattails stuck straight out behind him. But that didn't stop Bruh Wasp. All the way to his house, he had been laughing so hard that he had to stop now and catch his breath. At last he got home and started to laugh some more and tell his family about Bruh Mosquito. Just then his wife got a good look at him and she hollered out, For crying out loud, Bruh Wasp, what happened to your stomach? Bruh Wasp looked down where his waist had been and he could hardly see it. He lost all notion of laughing right then. He looked again and saw what all that shaking and pushing and squeezing had done to him. He was almost in two. Even his little hand could reach around his waist. He remembered how big it had been, and he saw how much he had shrunk, and he was afraid to so much as sneeze. Then he remembered what Bruh Mosquito had said to him. He remembered about all those people he had been joking about and laughing at so hard and for such a long time, and he thought about how now the others were going to have their turn to laugh at his little waist. He got so that he couldn't get that shameful thing out of his mind. And that is why he has such a short patience. Everywhere he goes, he thinks somebody's ready to laugh at him. And if anyone so much as looks at him, he gets so mad that he's ready to fight. And that isn't the worst, because from that day to this day, he can't laugh anymore. Because if he does, he'll burst into two. The end. Wow, so I love this story also, right? It's a tall tale. It comes from the book The People Could Fly, American Black Folk Tales told by Virginia Hamilton. It's a short story, which is okay. It's a tall tale. A giant turnip, a giant pumpkin, taking years to eat and everything like that. That's tall tale, right? That's folklore, though, in a nutshell. This story I liked a lot because it reminded me of my Uncle Ricky, may he rest in peace, who, as a child, was Papa John for me. He told me all kind of stories about his past. I remember at one point he even said that he was an alien from the 9th galaxy, or the 9th planet in the 13th galaxy. He gave it a name. I can't remember what it is now, but like, he was so believable in his tales to me that he had me as a child truly believing everything he told me. Like, it was to the point that we were coming up with characters together and creating stories together. I remember when the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou came out, me and him would watch it over and over again, and listening to the characters tell the stories, it's reminded me of him. That was him. George Clooney's character was him to me. He would, make things bigger and larger than life. And as a kid, that's what you want. It puts imagination into you. This is a fun story. And if you go back to your childhood, or you can probably remember people telling you stories like this, older family members, just exaggerating their lives in a way that you're like, is this true? And you don't dare fact check them, right? Like, you don't go to your mom and your dad and be like, Uncle told me this story about him. Or even if you did, they're gonna be like, yeah, he's lying. No, don't believe anything he says. And then he comes right behind them like, that's what I want them to believe, that. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna come back with, yeah. But they don't know though. They don't really know though. I know the truth, type of thing, and not on no conspiracy theory type mess or nothing like that. Just keep you guessing as a kid. Is this family member really from this place? Did they really do these things? And it keeps your, mind in a wonder. And I loved that. I need to know if more uncles and aunties and grandparents are telling their nieces, nephews, and grandchildren stories like this about themselves. That's folklore, right? That's folk tales. When you tell your younger family members those stories and be like, yeah, and have them looking at you like, oh my God, my older family member is awesome, right? But yeah, that was my Uncle Ricky. I loved him. I miss him. I miss those stories, But this is it. I love it. This is folklore. And this is what we need in our lives. Imagination and storytelling. Right? Wow. Oh, that has brought back so many memories for me. Anyway, go see Chef. He has a wonderful recipe for you. And until we meet again, as always, have a blessed day.
Welcome, my friends, to the Galley. I am your chef, and today we have a wonderful recipe inspired by the story you have just heard. Today, we will be creating turnip curry. Now, what will you need for this recipe? 3 medium turnips, washed and cut into cubes. 2 tablespoons coconut oil. 2 tablespoons curry powder. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. 1 teaspoon of ground paprika. 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice. 1 small onion, chopped. 3 cloves of garlic, minced. 1/4 medium red bell pepper, chopped. 1 tablespoon fresh ginger, grated. 2 sprigs of thyme or half a teaspoon dried. 3 cups of vegetable broth or 2 cups of water plus 1 vegetable bouillon. 1 Scotch bonnet pepper or 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and of course, salt to taste. Now, how do we put this together? Easy. First, you will heat the oil in a large saucepan on medium-high heat. Add the curry powder, turmeric, paprika, allspice. Cook until fragrant, stirring constantly. About 1 minute should do. Then you will add the onion, garlic, ginger, bell pepper, thyme. Cook, stirring until onion is soft. About 2 minutes should do. Next, you will stir in cubed turmeric and stir to coat. Add the vegetable broth, the Scotch bonnet pepper. Cover and bring to a boil. Reduce to a simmer and cook until turnip is tender. About 20 to 25 minutes should be enough, or until there is a thick sauce. Add the salt to taste. And that is it, my friend. Now, go. Do what you do. Make this recipe yours. And until I have another wonderful recipe for you, remember the story you have heard today. And until next time, my friends, as always, enjoy.
Thank you, my friends, for coming on this voyage. Thanks to Art by Chalet for the logo, episode, and shirt designs. You can get t-shirts and other items on tpublic.com. You can contact me on all socials at AfroTalesCast. That's AfroTalesCast. And email me at AfroTalesCast@gmail.com. You may also become a benefactor by simply sharing with any and everyone, giving a thumbs up, a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice, or simply donating on Patreon or Ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com. So until we meet again, may your winds be fair and your seas follow.